Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another episode and a happy, well, maybe not a happy Monday, but it was a good Monday nonetheless. We're still alive. We're still kicking. We're still possibly maybe even screaming. So we got something to live for. But basically today, Bitcoin was up a little bit today. Miners were down for the most part. We got some interesting stories today. Trump team and Hut 8 are partnering together. Iren provided a business update as well. MicroStrategy continues to gobble up Bitcoin like it's going out of style. And what else do we have here today? Another kind of metric that's kind of interesting. We'll take a look at that. I just saw this one in like the last hour or so. So we'll take a look at that. And then we'll get to you guys' Q&A. Should be pretty easy. We'll see where the month ended up for Bitcoin. It's the end of the month, last day. We're in April tomorrow. We'll see what kind of April Fool's jokes we get. And then we have, obviously, Trump's tariffs coming in on Wednesday for the Liberation Party, whatever they're calling it there. We'll cover all that, as always. All right? So always got to go through this also. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And I got some sad news. In the last, well, today actually, my portfolio went negative. I'm down about $6,000 to $8,000 in my portfolio right now on all these guys that I own. Cleanspark, Bitfarms, Iren, and Mara. Cleanspark's still in the green, but the other three have dragged it down to where I am in the negative. On the portfolio here. If I had more cash, I would be buying right now. But like I've told you guys in previous episodes, I got to hold cash right now for property taxes and my regular income taxes as well. But otherwise, I would be buying. But here's what we got. Bitcoin was actually up a little bit here today to finish out the rest of the month. Today was up just a little bit, 0.19% on the day. We were up $154 more or less. We closed at 82,534. We are maybe doing a little bit of a reversal here. We'll have to wait and see in the next couple of days, right? We got tariffs coming up here on Tuesday. We'll see what that all entails. Will that drop the market even more along with Bitcoin? We'll have to wait and see here. But we still have a little bit of a positive growth or at least higher lows on Bitcoin on the daily here. So that's looking pretty good here. The weekly is still above the 200 or the 50 simple day moving average. So that's still kind of good there. We haven't really crashed that hard from the highs here. We were in this spot before where we go down. We went down to approximately 30%, 29.86% from the top. That's within that range of where Bitcoin sometimes corrects, right? 30, 35, maybe even 38% is a good correction here. We saw that as well happening over the summer here from 73,000. We went all the way down to right around there, which was around 49,000 or so. We were down 33% or so. So, right, we're still in that kind of sideways pattern, correction, whatever you want to call it. Eventually that will flip for us. Do we know exactly when? Will it be April? Maybe, maybe not. Might be not until May. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Okay, MicroStrategy, like I said, bought some more. Stock didn't do too good today. It was down just a little bit here, but didn't do too bad either. It was down. Let's go on the daily chart here really quick. MicroStrategy was down 0.39%. It's had, what is it, 4 days now in a row where it's been down. Bitfarms was down another 6.47%. It's got a new 52-week low on this one. BitDeer was down 3.39%. This might be also, let's see, put this on the 1 year chart. We'll see if they're not at the 52-week low yet. Cypher was down just a little bit here, 0.86%. That one's gotten a new 52-week low. Cleanspark as well, a new 52-week low on this one. It was down 6.54%. CORZ was down 3.21%. It's still nicely above its 52-week low. Hive was down 3.3%. New 52-week low as well. Hut 8 was down 0.85%. It started out the day pretty good. It was up like 7-8% on the day. In the morning, at least, when the news came out that the Trump boys or the Trump kids are getting to Bitcoin mining with Hut 8. They're doing a, what do you call that? A venture with them. Iren was up a little bit here today, 0.33% on the news, potentially. So that one is still above its 52-week lows here. Mara was down another 7.78%. It's also gotten down to the 52-week lows today. Riot was down 3.91%. It's still slightly above the 52-week low. And the Wolf was up just a little bit here, 0.37%. It's still above its 52-week lows. And the other miners were down, except for, what is this? Digihost. Digihost was up 8.57%. Not sure why. Let's see if there's any kind of news that happened here. DigiPower up in pre-market trade after the results, I guess. 2024 losses narrowed, so that's why it was up on that one. ETFs were all down today. WGMI has been like one of the worst performers on the ETF scene, I think. It's hit a new all-time low or a 52-week low as well. DEP was down. It's still slightly above its 52-week low. BKCH, new 52-week low. BitQ, still above that. BitQ has actually been doing pretty good here. I probably should have put more money into BitQ than I did into WGMI when I was buying it back in, when was this? This was back in January of 2023, right when the miners have bottomed out at that point. And then what else do we have here? Gold continues its nice little rally here, continuing to go up. It's at 3,143. So that one is definitely doing much better than everything else in the market right now, as everybody's fleeing to safety with gold right now. Everything else, GameStop was up a little bit here, 2.72%. Nvidia was down, Tesla was down, Applied was down, Can was down, Semler was down. Everything was kind of down for the most part. Even Coin was down today. Doge was up just a little bit. So that's kind of what we have here on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. Wasn't a great day. Eventually the bloodbath will subside, I believe. I just don't know exactly when. For the month here, but actually for the quarter, Bitcoin ended out the quarter being down 11.82%. We started out the new quarter here in April, basically. We're up just a little bit on that one. And then for March, we finished out the month being down 2.3%, which isn't that bad. It's actually probably the lowest decrease in March here that we've seen here historically. Prior low was a 4.38% decrease, but historically, March has not been a good month for us, and it turned out to be that way as well. We were down on it. April, however, now looks like we might be kind of half and half on this one. We'll see which one this one goes. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 7 out of 12. So it is mostly green here. We'll see if April comes in that way. And then we'll have, obviously, May to look forward to. But historically, April, when it does have a pretty good month, well, at least in the past, it had pretty good months. It was up 30-some%, even 50%. But decreases were kind of small here for the most part, except for the last, I would say, probably 4 years or so. Things have kind of changed a little bit on it. So we'll see how we end up in April for this year. Okay. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin ETFs really quick, see how those have flown in. What do we got here? We got, so far we got a decrease. We'll have to wait and see what BlackRock comes in at for today, but it's another negative day. We had one on Friday as well. And then here is something that I thought was kind of interesting. I just saw this about an hour before getting ready for the show here. This is from Bar Chart. The top 1% of U.S. earners now have more wealth than the entire middle class. This is share of all household wealth by year, Q2 1993 to 2023. And the top 1% have more wealth than the middle class combined. That's staggering, right? That has not been good here. The wealth of the middle class has been going down while the top 1% wealth has continued to increase, right? So we are definitely getting squeezed very, very hard over the last couple of years, especially with the inflation and everything else that happened here. The wages have not kept up with the inflation, unfortunately. That's a result of what we're seeing here, I guess, of that transpiring into this. So how do you fight it? I think the only way you can really fight it is investing, getting Bitcoin, getting as much Bitcoin as you can, hopefully, and then holding on to it for a number of years while that goes up in value. That's kind of what I'm doing here. Maybe you guys are doing something else. All right. Next story that we have here is going to be on Michael Saylor and strategy company there. So MicroStrategy has acquired another 22,048 Bitcoin for $1.92 billion at 86,969. So they actually paid a little bit premium here for it. And has achieved a Bitcoin yield of 11% year to date 2025 as of 3/30/2025. Strategy holds 528,185 BTC acquired for $35.63 billion at an average price of 67,458 per Bitcoin. Okay, so what are we 15,000 away from that roughly from their average there, and if it falls below that, things are going to be going down here. So I don't think that's going to happen here. I'm sure Saylor doesn't want that to happen either. Okay, so that's kind of where we are at right now with that. But man, this is just outstanding that they just continue to buy like crazy. All right, next, let's get into the story on Trump. Kids there, Eric and Donald, getting into Bitcoin mining with Bitcoin heavyweights HUD 8 here. So HUD 8 and Eric Trump launch American Bitcoin to set a new standard in Bitcoin mining. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Yeah, there we go. That's going to work out better here. All right, American Bitcoin highlights here. So American Bitcoin aims to become the world's largest, most efficient pure play miner while building a robust strategic Bitcoin reserve. path to 50 exahash at an average fleet efficiency of less than 15 joules per terahash with the goal of becoming a publicly listed company. So they're spinning this out of Hut 8, it seems like, and they're doing this joint venture on this. We'll get into the details on this, but man, to become the world's largest, they're going to have to really, really kick butt and move heaven and earth to get there. You got Mara at above 50 exahash right now. You got Iren getting there as well. You got Cleanspark getting there to 50 exahash and more later on this year. Marathon has almost 50,000 Bitcoin as it is. Cleanspark, I think, around 11,000. Iren doesn't have any really, but even Hut 8 has about 10,000 plus. So getting to become the biggest is going to be a definitely challenge for them, and they're going to have to execute very, very well to do that. So let's continue on here. So today announced the launch of American Bitcoin Corp, American Bitcoin, a majority-owned and subsidiary of Hut 8 focused exclusively on industrial-scale Bitcoin mining and strategic Bitcoin reserve development. The launch of the American Bitcoin follows the strategic contribution of substantially all of Hut 8's ASIC miners to and in exchange for a majority interest in American Data Centers, Inc., a company formed by a group of investors including Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. In connection with the transaction, American Data Centers, Inc. was subsequently renamed and relaunched as American Bitcoin. Okay, it's kind of funny, the American Bitcoin, because some of the sites they're going to be mining at are actually in Canada, at least currently. Going forward, all Bitcoin mining operations previously reported under Hut 8's compute segment will remain under its compute segment, but operate through the American Bitcoin brand. Okay, so that's kind of interesting there. And this leads me to believe that maybe the mining operations will not be reported through Hut 8 as far as their monthly updates and things like that. I'm guessing they may. We haven't seen this yet. They may report it through American Bitcoin, individually there. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. If Hut 8 doesn't report it, we'll have to wait and see if we want to continue to report them, because the way that they're reporting the business segments now makes it kind of tough to follow it anyways. But we'll see. I'll keep you guys abreast on that. Initially, American Bitcoin's results will be consolidated within the company's financial statements for reporting purposes, right? So initially, at least. Eventually, they will spin out by themselves, I guess. Hut 8 will serve as American Bitcoin's exclusive infrastructure and operations partner through a series of long-term commercial agreements that will generate stable contracted revenue streams in Hut 8's power and digital infrastructure segments. So eventually, when they do break this out completely, they are just going to be basically a customer of Hut 8's, and Hut 8 is going to report that as Bitcoin hosting or managed services, whatever they're going to do with that. American Bitcoin aims to become the world's largest, most efficient pure-play Bitcoin miner while building a robust strategic Bitcoin reserve. Talked about that a little bit. It's going to be tough for them to do that. Definitely, it's not out of the question, but you're going to have a lot of capital being infused into the company in order to do that, build out more sites, all that stuff, buy more ASIC machines and things like that. The transaction combines Hut 8's proven mining operations, cost-efficient infrastructure development capabilities, and disciplined approach to capital allocation with Eric Trump's commercial acumen, capital markets expertise, and commitment to the advancement of decentralized financial systems. Okay, so that's good there. And this is a quote from Eric Trump here. "It is a great honor to partner with Hut 8, a recognized leader in Bitcoin space, as we launch American Bitcoin. By combining Hut 8's proven operational excellence in data centers with our shared passion for Bitcoin and decentralized finance, we are poised to strengthen our foundation and drive significant future growth." And hopefully they do really good on that, right? Hut 8 in the past has kind of struggled a little bit, at least in the last year, with growing their Bitcoin mining, but they are getting that up. They're increasing that here recently, so which is good. "From the start, we've backed our conviction in Bitcoin personally and through our businesses," said Donald Trump Jr. But simply buying Bitcoin is only half the story, which I agree with him, right? You can buy, but you're buying it at market prices. If you can mine it, you can buy it mine it. If you mine it, you get it at a much favorable rate. Mining it on a favorable economics opens up even bigger opportunities. We're excited to bring investors into that equation through a platform engineer to execute on this thesis and deliver real, tangible participation in Bitcoin's growth. And I love that. That's great. All right. Let's see down here. This is a quote from Asher Goodnut. "The launch of American Bitcoin marks a pivotal evolution in our platform strategy. By carving out our mining business into a standalone entity, which will raise its own capital, we align each segment of the business with its respective cost of capital. The transaction creates two focused yet complementary businesses, each purpose-built for its respective mandate. It evolves Hut 8 toward more predictable, financeable, lower cost of capital segments, and establishes American Bitcoin as a pure-play Bitcoin platform built for exahash growth, Bitcoin production, and operating leverage." Right, so they're trying to spin this out a little bit from their current operations, things like that. And it kind of makes sense, right? We know that Bitcoin operations are heavy capital intensive. And if you can push that off on something else, your books are going to be looking a lot better because you're not putting all that stuff on there. All right. Key terms here, transaction structure. So Hut 8 contributed the majority of its wholly owned ASIC miners to American Data Centers, Inc. in exchange for 80% of the company. Upon completion of the transaction, American Data Centers, Inc. was renamed and relaunched as American Bitcoin. Leadership team, America's Bitcoin initial leadership team will consist of 3 members, Mike Ho, Executive Chairman, Pat Prusak, Chief Executive Officer, and Eric Trump, Chief Strategy Officer. The board of directors is going to be Mike Ho, Asher Ganut, Justin Mateen, and Michael Burkim. And then select commercial agreements. Hut 8 will be the exclusive provider of ASIC co-location services and managed services to American Bitcoin. Hut 8 will also provide day-to-day management services to American Bitcoin through a shared, so server agreement is happening there as well. They did provide us with some slides here. They are going to have a conference call tomorrow. I believe it is at 7:30 in the morning Eastern time. I believe 8:30 Eastern time. My time would be 7:30. But here is what they're probably going to be talking about here, and I think I am. Let me see if there's more stuff to it. There is. I got to make this smaller. Sorry, guys. Let me make the slides pretty big here. Okay, that should all fit now. All right, here's what we got. So overview, vision, strategy, and team, transaction, and commercial things happening here. So American Bitcoin Mining subsidiary, all mining operations previously reported under our compute segment as Bitcoin Mining will remain under our compute segment but operate through the American Bitcoin brand. Okay, so that's going to be popping up there. That's why I said they have the different business segments now: power, digital infrastructure, compute, and other. And they put under compute Bitcoin mining, data center cloud, and GPU as a service, which then makes it hard to extrapolate the data for just their Bitcoin mining if they don't do that, and they really don't do that. So we'll have to wait and see if American Bitcoin or American BTC will actually provide monthly updates. Maybe we'll cover them. Okay, so that's happening under that. Talked about that already. Exclusive commercial partnership, we talked about that as well. Go public transaction. So the goal is for American Bitcoin to become a publicly listed company to expand capital access, enhance liquidity and flexibility, and drive long-term shareholder value. So they're going to spin this out into another company here and go public that way potentially. Strategic rationale, talked about this as well. Let's see, American Bitcoin will co-locate miners at Hut 8 sites with Hut 8 serving. I talked about that. ASIC driven, talked about that as well. So vision, strategy, and team here. American Bitcoin aims to become the world's largest, most efficient pure-play Bitcoin miner while building a robust strategic Bitcoin reserve. Right, we talked about that as well. It's gonna take a lot for them to accomplish that, and it's gonna take a lot of time too as well. So here's the illustrative growth roadmap for them, targeting 50 exahash of self-mining capacity at an average fleet efficiency of 15 joules per terahash. Pro forma self-mining capacity, right? So right now, this is kind of where we are at. They have approximately 10 exahash, phase 1. Contribution of substantially all of Hut 8's ASIC miners and the launch of American Bitcoin. So this is where we're at. Approximately 10 exahash, maybe give or take a little bit, probably around 9 something. And then phase 2, illustrative, right? This is all just illustrative right now. Assumes execution of Hut 8's purchase option with Bitmain at Vega and subsequent sale to American Bitcoin of 15 exahash Bitmain. Those are the U-mounted, rack-mounted servers, ASIC miners there. Those are at 13 joules per terahash. So that would get them to, at that point, 25. There's no guarantee that's going to happen, but this is just something they're talking about here. Right, then phase 3, we're looking at assumptions, acquisitions, and energization of new sites currently under exclusivity with Hut 8's development pipeline, and purchase and deployment of additional 10 exahash of new miners, assuming 13 joules per terahash, right, that would get into 35. For that, we're probably looking maybe sometime next year. I don't think they can pull this off anytime soon this year. And then phase 4, obviously we would assume acquisition, so same thing, get another 15 exahash of miners, assuming efficiency of 13 joules per terahash, that would get them down to approximately 15 joules per terahash overall, 50 exahash, but then again, I'm thinking this is more likely, maybe if they do it right, they might be able to get there sometime in 2026, if not early 2027. By that time, where will the other miners be? Mara, Cleanspark, Iren, we'll have to see where that one is. We're going to talk about Iren here in a second. They're focusing more on HPC AI here coming up. So we'll see where they get to. But I believe Mara is going to continue to grow. I believe Cleanspark is going to continue to grow as well. We'll have to wait and see where those guys are going to be at. If those guys are at 50 plus exahash this year, they might be even getting closer to like 60, maybe 7 exahash by the end of the year. I'm guessing by in 2026, they might be looking closer to like maybe even 80 exahash, 100 exahash, whatever it might be, depending on the machines that are coming out, how many you need, and things like that. So this is going to be definitely tough for them to keep up, and they're going to have to basically outperform, out-execute, and out-install the big guys here, Mara, Cleanspark, Iren, all those guys. Okay, so that's not an easy feat to do. And then here's the leadership team and board of directors, right? Eric Trump, Mike Ho, Escher Ganut, Matt Prusak, Justin. Matt was previously with Iconic Digital, if you guys remember that. And Michael Brokem. Okay, so there's that. And then transactions, basically how it's going to work. HUD 8 is giving 80%. Existing shareholders of American data centers are giving 20%. Co-location management services, shared services, exclusivity, ASIC put, options, stockholders, da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Co-location agreement, so HUD 8 or an affiliate of HUD 8 will exclusively do all the stuff for them. Managed services as well. Shared service agreement, all that stuff is up for 5 years here. So very, very interesting. And with the Trump kids getting into the Bitcoin mining side of things, what will that mean for the other miners, right? Will the other miners be able to as easily come up with further cash, investment, things like that into their own space and into their own Bitcoin mining? I think so. I don't think there's going to be a detriment to any of those guys. I think it's actually going to bring up all of them at the same time, right? But we just need the markets to turn around. We need all this stuff to happen, hopefully sooner than later, I guess. That was going to be good for them if that happens. And yeah, we'll see when that does happen. But I'm guessing sometime this year we'll still get a nice pump out of Bitcoin here. I don't think we're done with the bull run yet. Okay, so good news here overall for the market in general. Getting the Trump name into the brand as well, I think is going to be a good thing overall. All right, let's get into the other things that we have here as well, which is going to be on Iren. Went a little long on HUD 8, but I just want to point all that stuff out for you guys. And here is Iren. So we can zoom this in a little bit as well. There we go. So Iren provided a business update today, and we kind of knew this was kind of coming a little bit. They were talking about only getting to like 52 exahash or 56 exahash, and then focusing more on the HPCI side of things here. So we kind of knew this was coming. But here's their update. So today, Iren provided business update and strategic outlook, highlighting momentum in its AI HPC segments and an evolving capital allocation strategy aligned with current market conditions. Okay, so this is a quote from Dan Roberts here. As we near completion of our 50 exahash mining expansion, our focus is shifting to the next phase of growth and delivering scalable infrastructure for AI HPC through our AI cloud services and AI data center business. Our capital strategy prioritizes customer prepayments and a range of debt financing solutions, with the existing ATM facility providing a strategic backstop to support delivery, certainty, and ongoing commercial discussions relating to the AI cloud services and AI data center businesses. AI cloud services is what they provide now. They have GPUs for HPC, compute, things like that. And then AI data center business is more or less where they build out the data center possibly, and then they have a customer that puts their own in, kind of similar to what we have with Core and CoreWeave, right? Core has the data centers there. CoreWeave puts in their servers and things like that, and that's the other business of it all. So Bitcoin mining expansion is paused now. Okay, Iren will pause all further Bitcoin mining expansion upon completion of its 52 exahash build out. I'm a little bit on the fence on this. I wish they wouldn't say it's a pause, but maybe they have something behind the scenes there that we're not seeing. Just like Riot, with them putting a pause on their Bitcoin mining growth as well. Not too happy about that either, but I'm kind of on the fence on it, right? Could be good, could be bad. I think if you are able to get an HPCI customer, I think that's good. If you don't, then you're just kind of wasting that time not doing anything. That's kind of the way I look at it. This strategic shift reflects a deliberate reallocation of capital and continued management focus toward AI data centers and cloud infrastructure, while continuing to leverage strong cash flows generated by Iren's existing Bitcoin mining business. So they're going to use the cash flow from Bitcoin mining and put it into HPC AI, right? They don't hodl anything. They don't, right? That's kind of the way they're going about it. And we'll see if that's the right way to go. Down here, Iren operates across 3 business verticals: Bitcoin mining, AI cloud services, and AI data centers. So Bitcoin mining here, installed capacity increased from 31 exahash to 35 exahash following energization of Childress Phase 4. So that's obviously in this month here. They added 4 exahash. That is freaking fantastic. So love seeing that. They are on track to complete expansion to 50 exahash in the coming months, right? They've said they are targeting the end of the first half to get to 50 exahash. And then they're expected to generate about $528 million in annualized illustrative net cash flow based on when they get to, I believe 50 or 52 exahash in Bitcoin mining. Financing strategy: Iren will pause all further Bitcoin mining expansion upon completion of its 52 exahash build-out and intends to reinvest mining cash flows to support growth of its AI cloud services and AI data center businesses. So first one is going to be the AI cloud services, which is what they already are doing here. We actually have a pretty good update here from them on the revenue side of things as well. So currently they're operating about 1,186 GPUs, including the NVIDIA H100s and the H200 hardware. They're utilizing GPUs, generating annualized run rate revenue of 26 million as of March 31st. So they got some more contracts here, it looks like. Before they were operating about 12 million or so, 12, 14 million. Now they definitely increased that, almost doubled that. So that's good that they're getting that kind of interest in there. They even say it here, seeing increased engagement around large-scale AI cloud infrastructure opportunities, particularly for multi-thousand air-cooled Blackwell B200 GPU clusters hosted at Iren's Prince George data center following the release of DeepSeek. So that's kind of definitely interesting there. It's an update that we haven't had in a while, or had ever. And then financing strategy, Iren is progressing GPU financing work streams to support potential expansion, optimize capital efficiency, and deliver attractive risk-adjusted returns here. Going on to the next one here. Oh, doggone, this thing moves too fast for me. Let's scroll. There we go. Why will it not go back up to the top here? Let's try to go slowly. If I go too fast with the scroller, it just goes up to the top of the page, or the next page actually. All right, here we go. So AI data centers, right? They have Horizon 1, which is a 15 megawatt IT load that they're going to be building out here currently. This is at their Childress site, I believe. CapEx, they're looking at about 300 to 350 million. This is expected to be funded primarily through co-location customer prepayments and debt financing. Initial discussions focused on 50 megawatts of IT load have now evolved into co-location negotiations covering large volumes of capacity with multiple potential customers. Okay, so that's maybe why they're putting a pause on the growth there at Childress. To preserve execution speed and maintain Iren's time to market advantage, Iren has commenced placing long lead equipment deposits for capacity beyond the initial 50 megawatts. Right? So you need those. Those sometimes take anywhere, from 9 to probably 15 months, if not even more, maybe even 18 months sometimes to get some of these long lead items. Okay. Next is on the Sweetwater Data Center Hub, right? 2 gigawatts of power capacity. Investment is in substations and early stage infrastructure to preserve Iren's time to power advantage, and then preparing the site to enable rapid commencement of data center construction upon finalization of customer contract. So again, think about it as, core with core weave, right? That kind of partnership there. All right. Financing strategy, Iren remains focused on optimizing its capital structure to align with current market conditions. Customer prepayments tied to contracted capacity commitments, so that's good. Project level and corporate debt instruments, they could use those as they're building this stuff out. Convertible notes, they have used those in the past. And then asset-backed financing and leasing. This, I would be a little bit more hesitant on using that. We've seen things go badly in the past, at least when it was, at least with Bitcoin mining. And then reinvestment of Bitcoin mining and AI cloud services cash flow. So what they're generating now from the GPUs that they have there, along with Bitcoin mining, they're going to, put that into work, building out the other data centers. Right now, the utilization of the existing ATM facility with 111 million raised to date at an average share price of 11.07 provides a strategic capital backstop to complement the above sources. So they have, I believe, a $1 billion ATM there. They've basically used up 11% of that right now as it is. And we'll have to, they didn't provide how much cash they have here now, but we'll get that update probably in about 5 weeks when they report Q1 results. And then Iren believes there is a strong institutional appetite for credit and infrastructure lending, even ahead of contracted revenue supported by Iren's substantial real estate base, proven execution track record, and robust cash flow generated from its existing Bitcoin mining and AI cloud services business. That definitely does help there. We'll have to wait and see how that actually does play out. So definitely pretty interesting here on the way that they're going forward with this. I love seeing that they're going to be getting at least to 52 exahash here. It will be interesting to see what they do with HPC AI going forward, whether it's for their AI cloud services that they have and for any AI data centers partners that they get there as well on that one. But I own a boatload of the shares there in Iren, so I'm rooting for them to do well, and they have been doing pretty good. I think they might be the only ones here for Q1 to have a positive EPS, depending on what their costs come in like, but I think they should be at least positive EPS on it without even having a hodl position here. The next one might be Cleanspark here as well. They've stated in the past that they might be positive EPS without the FSB, so we'll see on that one. All right, that is it, all I got. So a lot of stuff happening here in the space. Even though we're all going down, there's a lot of stuff happening in the background. A lot of companies are still building out. They're preparing. They're taking advantage of what they can and moving forward, which is a good thing. You really do want them to go forward. You don't want them to be stuck in a spot, right? And Iren definitely has a huge potential there as well, with 2 gigawatts for data center use eventually as well. All right, let's get into your guys' Q&A here and see if you guys have any questions, thoughts, or anything like that. And we'll call it a day. So we're going on already half an hour here. A lot of details in today's releases here. So as always, if you guys could preface a question with a question mark or a Q, I greatly appreciate it. I'm going to try and work my way up a little bit. You guys have been busy commenting here a little bit, see if there's any questions, and we'll work our way down as always. And always greatly appreciate you guys coming in here, spending the time with me. All right. Let's see. KB Dubs. I think it's KB Dubs. Mara is going below 10, 2 billion stock offering to buy more BTC. Their last buy was 96,000. Fire deal now. A lot of companies bought higher, right? And they've been buying lower now. Saylor's no exception to that. So yeah, I wouldn't blame it on them, just on Theo there. Everybody was buying at that price. All right. My biggest question is, who's selling miners after they've fallen over 50% in 3 months? Why hold all this drop just to sell now? That's a good question. People just capitulate, right? They think it's over, and that's why they're selling, unfortunately. Are you bullish on Hut 8? They are building out a data center in Louisiana, I believe, like $2 billion or something like that. They may have a customer that's maybe Meta there. That's kind of bullish there. They do have some good, strong people, I would say, backing them. You got Code 2 investment backing them. You got Anthony Papagliano. Now you got the Trump team in there. Maybe the stars are aligning for them. But it seems like they're going away from Bitcoin mining themselves. They're going to be concentrating on managed services, hosting, and data centers and things like that, HPC AI. That's kind of seems like the path that they're going for. So as long as they can do well in those fields in HPC AI, I think they'll do very well. Okay, next question here is maybe a comment, I guess. Bitfarms will reverse split. You heard it here first. I called Penny land on Bitfarms back in December, and people called me crazy. 10-1 reverse split, late 2025. I will agree with you there. If they can't get above $1 on NASDAQ there, then they will be forced to get a reverse split. All right. Kat has a question here. Hi, Seb. Question, with global hash rate growing and BTC dumping, how long could efficient miner Cleanspark Iren survive? They're going to survive for a long, long time. The reason I say that is Cleanspark's got a huge HODL position. Right? They can always use that if need be. They can also get a new ATM if they need to. They're currently in a pretty good financially stable position. They got quite a bit of cash and things like that from getting convertible notes. So they're good there. Iren's also got an ATM. They're going to be fine, right? So whether or not they're mining at a profit, that's another question there. But they can definitely sustain a prolonged downturn, like previous bear markets and things like that, if those do go through. All right. How many outstanding shares for Iren in all cost? 224 million and 34,000. Penny does not believe 29, I think. What is their all-in cost? I had their all-in cost around 40-some thousand, at least currently, based on Q4 results, extrapolating that data into current numbers, what they're mining and things like that. Let's see, where's it at? Miners break even. Where do I have that? Break even, bear with me. I got to look this up. I got too many sheets here. Break even. Yeah, I have them at around 42, give or take 10% up or down, right? Somewhere around there. So that's kind of where I think they are, as long as they keep the SG&A down. Electricity stays below like it has. If they can do that, then I think they're pretty low as far as what it costs to mine. And I can show you the guys here. I've talked about this also last week a little bit. We actually went over it. So that's kind of what I'm seeing there, at least, right? Iren, Cleanspark, everybody else, kind of like I said, this is an estimate, give or take 10% up or down, more or less. I think that gets us in a pretty good line there. At least we see where things are at. All right. Jen Pell says, went from 170% in profit to 28. I'm kicking myself, not selling. Yeah, if we knew this, that's a hindsight, right? In hindsight, you would have done things a heck of a lot differently. Yeah, like I said, today I actually went negative on my portfolio. Not because, well, not everything's down. I'm still up in Cleanspark a little bit, but everything else went down, and I'm down like $6,000-8,000 on it. Who's still green overall? Yeah, definitely. Maybe I should do let's do All right, we're going to do a, what is it called? We're going to do a poll. Let me pull this up here. Let's do this. Who is still positive on their positions? All right, start poll. All right, let's see what we get from you guys. BG says, I'm green on Riot, but that's it. All right, here we go. I read that 75% of HUT's sites are in Canada. Yeah, I think they got like 2 or 3. I think it's going to be like 2 or 3 sites that are going to be used for this new thing. Sadie, thank you so much for the thumbs up and reminding everybody to hit the like button. Greatly appreciate it. Morton says green here, barely. Yeah. Jempel, green on Cleanspark and red on BitDigital, Bitfarms, and Iren. I'm in the same boat as you then. I'm green on Cleanspark, but red on Marathon, red on Iren, red on Bitfarms. Guy says big disappointment from the miners. Yeah, I mean, they're down 50, 60% from just beginning of the year. Bitcoin's only down 30%. Starman says, good news is we only have 4 more red days this week. Hang in there, Jans. That's thinking positively. All right. The guy says we should not be disappointed from BTC as it touched 109,000, which is pretty impressive, but highly disappointed by the miners. I would agree there. Yeah, miners definitely are not performing like they did previously. Let's see. The masses must have known miners would perform this crap. Bitcoin performed. Miners never did. At least we tried. Yeah, I mean, I'm still thinking that we're not out of the woods yet. Well, not really out of the woods. Not done with the market going in the up direction for Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. I think that will happen here later on this year. Matt, thank you so much, buddy, for coming in here. As always, greatly appreciated, and love your guys' spaces as always. If you guys don't follow Matt for sure. With he's on oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now. Expedition Mining. Follow him on there and the shows he does on Monday nights right before I do mine. Those are great. I love jumping on those. Let's see. Sebastian does the best job. I'm in my PJs on the couch. Great way to end the day. Matt, greatly appreciate it. And I wish I had the voice and the energy like you have when you're talking on the spaces. For somebody told me that you were like a radio personality at one point, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong there. What about the M&A deal from American BTC? Could they acquire some other to get to the top spot? But you're overpaying at that point. I don't think it would make sense to do that. You might be able to get some of the smaller maybe miners to do that, to get sites that you can build out. But buying somebody at these, I mean, right now everything's down so much. If you could do it, it might make sense. But you're still going to be overpaying, basically, I think. So I don't think that would make sense. All right, SK's got a question. What could be Bitcoin's bottom in the bear market this cycle? I think we're close to it. I think we might be able to go down a little bit more. If we do go down, I'm guessing somewhere around, maybe 78, 75. I think we got to hold 69,000 though. 69,000 is like the line in the sand, as low as we can go. Talked about that one. Let's see. Next one here. Does miners also go up with the global M2 money supply? Can you show charts since last cycle period? All right, the M2 money supply, I don't have that. Let me see if I can do that. Bear with me here. We did the M2 money supply last time, but then we have to do it individually. The only way I could possibly do it is look at just the way the miners have performed here in the last, let's see, we can do maybe 5 years, not even 5 years. I think maybe, I can't do, let me see. Let me pull that up for tomorrow's. I got to set that up because I need to put in the M2 supply and overlay and everything else. So I'll try to do that tomorrow as well. And then tomorrow we'll also take a look at, on the miners side of things, how will the Bitcoin price being down from the prior quarter will it affect the FASB values potentially for the miners that do have a HODL position. Let's see. Did you see all the videos Iren posted to their YouTube account today? It's all shell us away S now. Not sure I understand that, but I didn't see the videos, no. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Seb. Hope you are doing well. It's been a while, man. Miners are bleeding, but I am adding every day. Very nice. Wish I could do that. Like I said, I'd love to do that right now, but just can't. What about you? Do you think it's the right time to add rather to lose hope and sell? Are you buying? I would be buying. I got to pay property taxes and income taxes here in the next basically 2 weeks for the income taxes, and then I got about a month before I got to pay property taxes. So if it wasn't for those two things, I'd be Oh man, I'd be adding a bunch. I'd be buying like crazy right now. All right. And when is Trump going to make miners great again? Well, his boys are in there now in Bitcoin mining, so hopefully they're going to start pumping those guys up. And hopefully it's not selective. I hope it's the whole space in general. All right. Andre says, Dan and Iren have completely lost the plot of growing shareholder value. Now it's all ATM, charity, and HPCI that has zero revenue. I hate Iren so much now that what garbage leadership. I would disagree with you there, Andre. I think they're doing everything right. I mean, what other company is getting to 50 exahash growth, right? You got to grow there somehow. Yes, dilution is part of it, but they also have been using the Bitcoin that they mine there to hopefully dilute less than others maybe in order to do that. So we'll see if that works out for them. But I think they're going in the right direction. Getting to 50, 52 exahash is huge. And then if they can capitalize on the sites that they have at Clearwater for 2 gigawatts with a huge customer there that could use it or do something with it for HPC, I think it's going to be a lot of revenue for them going there. I mean, that would be the biggest site overall, right? Core and CoreWeave have, 750 megawatts, I believe it is. CoreWeave with Galaxy has 200 megawatts. They got 2 gigawatts. That's a lot more revenue, right? And CoreWeave is paying Galaxy 4.5 billion for the 200 megawatts, and they're paying CoreWeave is paying Core. There's too many cores. Core 12 point something billion, 13 billion for 750 megawatts over 12 years, something like that. So, what would that translate into Iren if they got the whole 2 gigawatts? So, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Okay. What are your major holdings? I'm still holding Cleanspark and Bitfarms. My major one is still right now, Cleanspark is the biggest one as far as value is concerned, followed by Iren. Then it would be Bitfarms and then Marathon at the end there. Jackie says, sell miners and buy MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy has done probably the best here in the last year. Trump equals bankruptcy. I got to be honest, I thought the same thing. As probably rough as to say it, but I thought the same thing when I heard the Trump team is getting there. Like, oh, maybe they'll pump it up, and they'll, do a bankruptcy, refinance, whatever the thing, raise it back up. I don't know. Sadie, free streams with every like. I appreciate it. It's not really free. You guys have to watch commercials, unfortunately. Unless you have YouTube Premium, well, then you get it for free. All right. Are you assuming any growth in AI HPC net profit when you do price targets? I do not. No, I include just the Bitcoin mining side of things because HPCI, we don't know what that revenue is going to be, how long that revenue is going to be for, what's there. I mean, we can kind of estimate more or less. But yeah, it's tough because they might get it, they might not get it, right? So far, we've only seen Galaxy get a nice deal with CoreWeave and Core getting a nice deal with CoreWeave. Other than that, who have we really seen here? TerraWolf has gotten some smaller deals, right, with Core 42, and then that's it. So it's not like they're all scrambling to get to these miners for their HPCI or for their megawatts. So that's kind of why I don't do that. All right, Andre here. Let's see. Why shut down expansion? Only your bread and butter business to waste all your money on charity and HPCI sites that make zero revenue in comparison. Iren has gone for full woke retarded. Shame on Iren. They are making revenue, right? Iren's making 23 million right now from their AI, the business that they have. The what do they call that? Cloud computing, whatever they're calling it. So they are making revenue on that. So it's not going to waste there. But maybe they have something in the background that they can't talk about yet. They have some discussions, collaborations with customers, and then they're putting this out there now just to kind of let everybody know that's maybe what's happening there. I don't know. We'll find out in time. All right. Hi, Seb. Did Mara buy Bitcoin with convertible notes this month? Thanks. I don't know if they bought coins this month in March, but I know they bought with the convertible notes in the past, maybe a month before. But I'm not sure if they bought this month. My memory is a little foggy here on that one. I'm not sure. I have to look back. I don't think they did, though. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see. He's got a question here. Okay. Are people buying more BTC than miners? You mean like recently, like today? That I don't know. But that could be. I mean, I think people are just escaping from the risk-on assets right now, going into gold and going into overseas markets even. I think we're seeing more of that outflow happening here. We just need stability in the markets here right now, which we don't have. With Trump and all the tariff fears and everything else, we need stability. We don't have that. We have a lot of whatever's going to happen is going to happen, right? It's one of those things, and markets don't like that. So we are where we are. All right. Question: Hood News is saying BTC traders are capitulating BTC and whales buying BTC. How legit is this? I've seen this also, that we're seeing more of the whales hodling more, right? So they've stopped selling, it looks like, and now they're in the position of actually accumulating again. All right. Could you please share the share dilution history of Mara, Cleanspark, Hive, Hut, and Cypher? Let me see. I should have that chart for the dilution here on these guys. Oh, just got to find it. Bear with me. Like I said, I got too many charts, too many. There is dilution here for the quarter. So this is for last quarter that we're going through on these. And I think Bitfarms might be updated here on this one. Let me see. Bitfarms, if I'm using the latest data, which I'm probably not. Last shares were 448. That doesn't seem right. Q3, yeah, I got to update. That's 553. All right. So there's that one. That one's updated here. That was the only one. So Bitfarms is now updated. Let me clear that out so I don't forget. And here's basically what we have. Revenue per share difference, current dilution per petahash. We can see that over here. Okay, shares diluted. So core, and this is going back to Q4 2023. So basically year over year, right? Core has diluted 242 million shares. Iren 114, Bitfarms 219, so that would be up there. We probably should just do that descending. Bitfarms, Iren 114 million, Riot 96 million, Cleanspark 82 million, Marathon 78 million, Cypher 65 million, BitTier 53, Hive 49, Hut 8 only 13 million. Percentage of dilution here. Let's run this also descending here just to get it updated. So 136% dilution for Core, Iren 110%, Bitfarms 65%, BitTier 47, Hive 46, Cleanspark 41, Riot 38, Marathon 29, Cypher 21, Hut 8 14%. Hash rate growth, right? We had quite a lot of hash rate growth. You guys can take a look at that. I'm not going to go over it. Hut 8 was the only one that lost hash rate. And then shares per petahash, dilution-wise, what were we getting for it basically? Less is better on this one. Best one would have been probably Marathon, 2,073 shares diluted for hash rate growth per petahash. And Cleanspark came in at number 2 here at 2,851 shares. So those guys, and Iren even, 4,454, right? Huge growth for these guys, right? You got Cleanspark, Marathon, and Iren growing the most here in the last year. And then per diluted revenue share, revenue plus. What was that one I was looking at? Oh, looking over here. On this is dilution, difference in revenues. What do we get for revenue on that? So that's kind of the way it looks on it. A lot of data, as always. Okay. Hopefully that helps you out. Okay. Let's see. Sour says, Saylor, is this cycle Sam Bankman-Fried? Do you think it's a Ponzi? I don't think it's a Ponzi. Well, I don't even know if Sam Bankman-Fried was a Ponzi. It was more of a poor management practices and controls with Sam Bankman-Fried there. All right. Are you still sticking with your Iren price target? That's tough, right? We've seen that the miners have not performed as well as I thought they were going to perform. Right now, I'm going with a low estimate on these guys. If Bitcoin does at least a 2x from here or 3x, 3x would be nice. 3x would get us to about, 240, 250,000, right? That'd be kind of nice. 3x on this, then the miners should do at least, at that point, at least 2 to 3x on top of that, maybe like 2x. So maybe the miners do, 4x from where they are right now, 5x. I'm being conservative here, but they could definitely outperform that as well. I'm kind of sandbagging it because before I was being maybe overly optimistic as far as where things could go based on prior cycles, but this cycle is definitely way different than what we've seen here. So is there any chance Iren already has an HPCI deal that we don't know? There's always a chance, right? There might be some things that they're still dotting the T's on, crossing the T's, dotting the I's on. in the background that we don't know about. But we won't know until they actually report on something like that. Ann says my portfolio is down just over 37,000. Ouch. On Hive and Bitfarms. Yeah, a lot of people are down. Seb, I'm down around 45% of my portfolio. Do you think I can make a 200% profit still or no? 200% profit from where you are, so you would need a 4x basically, right? My math is right on this. 200% profit on 45, down 45%, so you're down basically 50% from where you were. I don't know if that's break even there, but I'm guessing you need like a 4x. I think you're gonna get close to that, maybe even outperform that, depending on how Bitcoin does, and then how well the miners are going forward here. We might get another pump on these guys. All right, let's see. Peak cycle dollar price for Cleanspark according to you, if BTC touches 170,000. So peak cycle dollar price for Cleanspark according to. So we're only going up basically 2x from here. I would expect Cleanspark to do at least 2x, 2 to 3x on it. So at 2x, Cleanspark at what, $7 right now, or like at $14 to $21, somewhere around there, I would imagine. But they could do better. All right. Sadie says, always green on my little mining farm. Awesome. Let's see. Down. Wow. Pit, you're down to 180 at this point. Nothing or double. Wow. That's okay. That's rough. Heinzie, I hope we can have 3 weeks of green days from time to time instead of the 3 red weeks with 2 green days. I would agree. So, and then also based on my poll here, it looks like 20 or 65% of you are not in profit anymore. So yeah, it's definitely very rough right now, painful. Let's see. Can you please check the latest Cleanspark short? I think it's like 37, 32, 35% right now. I don't think I have the latest data on it. I'm still waiting for the numbers to come through for middle of March here. Let me see if I can pull this up and see. Actually, we did get it. Okay, so let's see here. Cleanspark. Let's do that. Yeah, shorts went up to 80 million here for 314. You guys can see that here. So we'll do that tomorrow as well. We'll talk about the shorts on the latest data on these guys. So we'll pull that in on that one. All right, interesting. So that data is up. So shorts are still going in here. Okay. All right, we got something to talk about tomorrow. That's fantastic. Good. This kid's got a question. Once Bitcoin goes to 150,000, 200,000 this cycle, what would be bottom in 2026, 27? My original thought process was if Bitcoin goes to 180,000, this was back before we had all this adoption talk and everything else. I calculated somewhere around there that if Bitcoin goes to 180,000 and then we have a similar market like in the past where we have a bear market, I'm thinking like 67,000 would be possibly the bottom at that point, based on what we've seen historically with Bitcoin, somewhere around there. Last bear market, I called 13,500. We got down to 15,000. So I was off by, $2,000 on it. It's kind of where I thought things were going to go down, and didn't get too far off from that. Last year I said the network hash was going to go up to 800, 900 exahash. I was off by 20 exahash. 20 exahash. It got to 780 exahash, and my target was 800 exahash. So it's off a little bit on that. We'll see where we come in this time around. Okay, talked about that. Ron, hey Seb, not sure if it has been covered yet, but do we expect dilution from Bitfarms, and what can Ben do to bring us shareholders value? Execute. He's got to execute on what they're saying. Do we expect dilution from Bitfarms? There's going to be some dilution here. I think they said that they have enough cash to do what they want to do this year, right? They're not really going to be growing much more than the 18 exahash that they're targeted for this year, and then they're working on HPCI as well. So possibly not, but I'm sure they're going to probably do some more later on this year if the stock warrants it, right? If the stock goes above $1, then they're probably going to pull on it, because right now it doesn't really make much sense to pull on it at 70 cents, whatever it's at. So they're probably going to wait out a little while. Okay. Let's see. All in miner costs include stock-based compensation and miner depreciation for Q4. No, not the numbers that I have. I don't include that in there. That was just basically costs, overhead, right? I try to look at cash costs, basically, to see if, based on cash costs, can they actually turn a profit that way. Yeah, if you include everything else, then you're looking at much higher numbers for sure. Yeah. All right. What else we got here? Guy says, do we need to wait until December 2025 for Cleanspark to go to 17 or maybe next cycle? I still think we're going to get a bull run in Bitcoin this year, right? It's going to be towards the end of the year. At that point, I would expect the miners to also follow suit. So we might get it this year still. All right. If the miners go to the moon, would people be down for a meetup to celebrate? Well, we were talking about that last year, right? Everybody was happy. Miners were going up and things like that before, or was it the year before? I can't remember now. But we're talking about that where we would have a meetup on a yacht or something like that, right? Big dreams. But it'd be kind of cool to have a meetup. That would be fun. All right. Why don't Cleanspark use their HODL to buy back shares? They could do it. But I don't know how much of an impact that would have. I mean, they could do it, I guess, but nobody else is doing it. So why be the first one to do it, I guess? And then also Bitcoin goes up to 150,000, 200,000. You're losing all that value there. That's, kind of locked up right now. Sorry, I asked Heinz, can we party on your yacht? All right. Those who are negative in their positive, how should they approach their situations? CC option till 2027 or HODL? Okay, so those who are negative in their position, I guess, how would they approach the situation? Depends on what you believe, right? If you believe Bitcoin's done with, you probably want to sell out. If you believe that Bitcoin's still going to go up at the end of the year, potentially, then you would probably want to maybe dollar cost average in, hold on for a little while longer, get through this pain period, I guess, and then see where we are in the next, I would say, 6 to 9 months, roughly, right, from where we are now. He says, that's sour. My canoe isn't going to fit everyone. Well, by that time, you may have a bigger boat. Okay. Everyone is losing hope at this time. Do you think miners will recover? I do. I still think they will recover. But we need Bitcoin to recover. And at that point, they should do well, right? If we get Bitcoin to close to 200,000, just as long as the network hash rate doesn't go up too crazily in the next 6 to 9 months, which I don't expect it to do, because we have a lot of these miners that are not really foretelling us what they're going to be doing as far as growth. And I think the growth is going to be a little bit more limited than we've seen in the past, at least, right? Everybody's kind of on the sidelines right now when it comes to huge growth ambitions in Bitcoin mining, because they're thinking this might be the time where you have the peak in the Bitcoin bull run, and then you want to kind of take as much of those profits as possible that you can right now and not put too much more into it going forward, and then get into a bear market again later on. So that's kind of why I think everybody's kind of holding off. All right. If Bitcoin falls or the bear market comes in the near future, do you think miners will fall even more, like BTC at 60,000, or no, they'll fall even more. If Bitcoin falls to, if we get into a bear market, they're falling. They're going down basically, 80, 90% down from where they were in the beginning of the year. They're down 50, 60% right now as it is, 40% some of these guys, but they're going to fall more. All right. What is your unbiased realistic expectation for Bitfarms? Will a big Bitcoin run even bail them out at this point? It will help for sure. My unbiased opinion is, I was telling you guys for the last couple of months, as reports were coming in that they're, decreasing the exahash, they're moving targets, things like that. I started trimming down my position at that point. It's like, okay, this is not what I signed up for. I wanted growth to be the 21 exahash by the end of the year. They're missing those things. I'm slowly transitioning out of them, right? So I sold out 2/3 of my position there. So they need to execute. That's the biggest thing that's, I think, shot them in the foot right now, is the execution that they missed. People need to see execution and being executed properly. So with them transitioning over more into the United States, I would hope that execution is going to be easier to fulfill, but we'll see. All right. Cleanspark or Iren, which one would you go for if you are just buying for the first time? Oh, there's pluses and negatives to both of these guys, right? Pluses, we'll start off with the pluses for Cleanspark. Already a large miner, right? Getting to 56, 58 exahash, whatever it might be this year, possibly getting closer to 60 exahash. They have sites all over the place, which is kind of nice. They're kind of diversified, but because of that, they have a little bit higher cost of electricity. They also have a HODL position, right? Almost 11,000 Bitcoin there, might be even more when they report later on this week. So that's also pretty good there, as long as Bitcoin goes up to 150,000, 200,000, whatever it might be. So those are the kind of pluses. The negatives, like I said, are a little bit higher electricity cost, and maybe no HPC ambition, right? Maybe that's a negative there. For Iren, the good thing is also large miner, getting to 52 exahash here later on this year. The low cost of electricity for Bitcoin mining, probably one of the best out here. And then the negative no hodl position. But the good thing is they have HPCI ambitions as well. Could they get something out of that? So it's kind of, I like both. That's why I own both. So it's kind of tough to say which one you want to really get into because you never know which one's going to get that one little news story that pops it off and goes like a rocket. Okay, so that's the way I would look at it. See, every day with Mommy and Moon. If BTC goes to 150,000, what price target do you think for Bitfarms and Cleanspark? Cleanspark, like I said, around $20, somewhere between, I would say, $14 and $21, somewhere around there. It could be much higher than that as it is. Bitfarms, I mean, geez, Bitfarms at 70 cents. I would hope they could at least get to like maybe $2 at that point, right? $2 to $3, I would say. Maybe more, depending on what they provide in that time. Before Bitcoin gets to 150,000, we might be, 4 or 5 months out, or 6 months out even, or even longer than that. But depending on what they do as far as operations, how do they execute and everything else, and do they maybe get something for HPCI? So it could be up higher. And BG says, I'd be happy with $3 for Bitfarms at this point. A lot of people would be as well, I'm sure. I would be too. And says, I need for Canadian dollars for Bitfarms to a little bit of a profit. Okay, so you definitely got in much higher. All right, any reason you don't cover Galaxy? Galaxy does not provide monthly operational updates. So that's one of my criteria there. If they got to provide monthly updates, and then I would. Okay, let's see. Hi, Seb. Have you ever thought about day trading these stocks? I don't have the time to day trade them, honestly. So that's why I've been kind of dollar cost averaging as I can. All right, question. Rex Finance speculates that top 3 miners, including Cleanspark, will be valued at 700 plus in 2035. Is that, I don't even know where he's getting that fairy tale number out of in 2035, unless Bitcoin's over 2 million or something like that, and they dilute very, very little here going forward, which, I mean, if we get into an extended cycle, you might see actually less dilution happening going forward, because as long as the network hash doesn't go crazy on us and it's actually less percentage gains than what Bitcoin is actually going up in value, then at that point, you might be able to fund the operations, growth, and everything else without much dilution. That would be an awesome thing to see. I don't know if we're going to see that, but that would be awesome. Let's see. From the dreams of 3 to 4x now, I'm hoping for just break even with 37% loss. I'm sure you're not the only one that's dreaming of that right now. We definitely got gut checked here in the last 3 months. If bears is in, should I be holding till next bull or take the loss? If we have a bear market, you might be better off selling because these guys will continue to dilute. And the next bull run is not going to happen until possibly sometime 2028, 2029, if we have a similar cycle. So in those 3 years, you could definitely probably recoup your losses in investing in other things, in EVs, energy sector, HPCI even, what else? I mean, there's other things you could possibly invest in that are still going to be doing really, really good. All right. Just for fun or pain, what is the worst that you think Iren will do? The worst that I think Iren will do? The worst would be obviously if they don't get an HPCI deal with a big hyperscaler or somebody huge for that 2 gigawatts. I think that would be the worst, right? And all that time spent on nothing, I think that would be the worst. That's kind of what I can think of. They are moving to the United States headquarters-wise, or to be domiciled in the United States. I think that should help them out. But I think not getting an HPCI deal with somebody big, that would be probably the worst thing that has happened for the company there. Last question. In 140 plus years from now, how does miners transition to a different business model once we run up the BTC to mine? If I'll be 6 feet under by that time, yeah, so will I. Right? I'll be happy if I live another 30 years. I think I'll be happy if I'm able to do that. But what's going to happen there? So eventually we will need the network transaction fees to cover more, or maybe not, but depending where Bitcoin price goes. Right? Bitcoin price continues to go up. Let's say $1 million. Let's say it takes $1 million to reach $1 million. Let's say it takes 2035 or something like that. So it's roughly 20 years from when Bitcoin started, right? It's going to be probably more than that. I'm just spitballing here. So let's just say it takes 25 years for Bitcoin to get to $1 million, roughly. Let's say it takes another 25 years for it to get to 2 million or something like that, or whatever it might be. It might be even faster than at that point. I think it's growing faster now. So let's say it takes 10 years for it to get to 2 million after that, right? So eventually the price keeps going up. There might be a path where the increase in price of Bitcoin alone might be enough for it to sustain itself, for the miners to still make pretty good revenue on the diminishing rewards that we get there. And we'll probably need the network transaction fees to also go up. Could that be with, not on-chain, but off-chain, on-chain, like Lightning Network or something like that? You could do it with that. And as long as there's sufficient use of it and a lot of people are using it, and maybe eventually Bitcoin does become like the reserve asset of the world where everybody's using it and we're just all using sats instead of Bitcoin. And then you have those transaction fees happening on that. And that's kind of where the miners make their money that way as well. Only time will tell, I guess. But we'll be long gone when that does happen. Are you sure HODL miners will benefit from having a HODL when Q1 numbers are announced? I think HODL will hurt their Q1. Yes, they will get hurt with the FSB rules. All of these guys will be down quite a bit. I mean, we're down about 10,000 something, right? Almost 11,000, I think it is, on Bitcoin from the quarter end of Q4 to end of Q1. Mara's got 40 some. You're looking at $470 million loss there, more or less on paper at least. Cleanspark's going to have a 111 million loss roughly. Who else is in there? Riot's going to have a $177 million loss because of that, just the valuation difference on it. So FASB is great when Bitcoin's going up, but it's also going to hurt you on the way down. All right. Seb, do you think the tariffs, U.S. could have a recession? Tariffs could we have a recession because of the tariffs? There's always a possibility of that, yeah. Things are going to go definitely up in price for a period of time. But is this all just a negotiation tactic by Trump? I still think that's the case. I could be wrong on that. We'll see where we end up at with everything. Everything is just kind of fluid right now. So I don't know. Ron's got a question here. Any idea which institution may be the biggest short seller if that info is available? I do not have that. I'm sure that information is somewhere out there, but I don't have it, no. All right. Benjamin says, I have over 22,000 or 225,000 in Cleanspark. Should I sell half of it and buy a different mining stock? If so, what mining stock do you prefer? You definitely have a lot more than I do. Depending on what your cost average is on that one, and you say you only have Cleanspark, I would diversify a little bit more into like Iren. I would get into maybe Mara as well. Everything is down so much right now as it is. All I see is maybe a little bit downside more on these guys before we see potential pretty good upside returns here. So I'll look into those as well. Mara has been doing a lot better when it comes to mining. I think they're over 800 Bitcoin mined in the month of March here. So that's a really good operational update for them coming out probably later on this week. Cleanspark, I think, is getting to like over 700 Bitcoin mined this month as well. So they're having a great month as also. Iren, we'll see where they end up at. They're at 35 exahash right now. So that should be a good month for them as well. There's just a lot of companies that are doing great things. So kind of diversify if you can. Okay, so you got 1108 average there. So you're down quite, you're down roughly 30%, 40% roughly on it. So I would, diversify or buy more into it. That's going to be your call there, unfortunately. All right. We'll have to call it a day, guys. We're going on an hour and 8 minutes now. Greatly appreciate you guys coming in here. Tomorrow is April Fool's Day. Maybe I'll do something for April Fool's. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll fool you guys. Maybe. But I told you guys about it now, so you probably won't even care about it. But we'll see what we get tomorrow with the miners, with the markets, everything else. It's a brand new month, April. We should get an update from Bitfarms tomorrow. They always provide them the first. We'll look at the short data on the miners as well tomorrow that we have an update for the middle of March. We'll also look at the FASB implications on these guys that have a huge HODL position. What does that actually mean? How much is that going to take them down? I'll try to figure that out. That's not going to be easy. I'll maybe reach out to somebody that maybe knows a little bit more on this, how that's going to work. We'll do that and anything else that happens at that point. Okay? So that's it. Greatly appreciate you guys coming in here as always. Thank you so much. Love you all. I hope you guys try to stay positive at least. Tomorrow's another day. As long as we wake up in the morning, it's always a beautiful day, right? Everything else is just FUD. Okay? See you guys tomorrow.